What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package and infrastructure update and daily news report for Monday, May 10th. So today we learned that individual filers will be receiving their unemployment income tax refund checks first. This is going to happen because reports indicate that individual filers will be easier to process than married couples. So I just wanted to start off by mentioning that simply because I know a lot of people have been asking. We also know President Biden plans to meet with House Republican Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy on Wednesday, and the plan is to discuss the upcoming infrastructure package. We know Democrats are arguing that the rising prices of goods and the low jobs numbers that came in on Friday, this is actually what is pushing their, even a stronger push for stimulus checks, and they say that this should be a requirement in the next bill. We know the $1,400 stimulus checks gave Americans about a 21% boost in their income in March, and this is according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, but they are saying that an additional check is needed only in a certain situation. So I'll mention that in just a minute. Then we know Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he is actually in support of a bill, infrastructure package that is anywhere from $600 to $800 billion. So he actually upped his offer by about $200 billion. So we'll see what happens there. So let's first dive into what Mitch McConnell is saying and what he is proposing, because what Mitch McConnell is talking about is actually more in line with what some Democrats are wanting as well, and what President Biden is proposing has no Republicans on board, and it has a few Democrats that are actually opposing the bill as it stands. So as of right now, between President Biden and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, there's more people on board with what Mitch McConnell is proposing than what President Biden actually wants. So it's going to be a very, very big week because Congress is back in session today. So we'll see what happens there. First off, Mitch McConnell now supports a bill between $600 and $800 billion. So he's already upped his offer in just 2 weeks. The reports indicate that the reason for this is not just to save money. So Mitch McConnell originally wanted to propose about $600 billion because it would save the United States a decent amount of money. Because as of right now, no Republicans and a handful of Democrats do not support President Biden's plan to increase the corporate tax rate from 21% up to 28%. The majority are stuck right about 25%, but all Republicans want it less than that at 21%. They don't want to see any changes. But here's what we know. What we are hearing is as of right now, that Democrats are hurting their chances of controlling the House and the Senate after the midterm elections in 2022. We know that historically, and this is something that has happened for years, historically the party of which the president stands normally loses seats in the midterm elections during their first term as president. So he is in his first term. Who knows if he's going to have a second term, but he's in his first term. Next year will be the midterm elections for the House and Senate seats. So we will see then, but this is what Democrats are considering at this time is if we don't go big, we don't pass bold legislation, then there is a guarantee we lose seats in the House and the Senate. And right now, the majorities are so slim that chances are if Democrats lose any seats in the House, then the Republican Party will then control the House. And if they lose just one seat in the Senate, then the Republican Party will control the Senate as well. So President Biden knows that if he wants to get anything done, it has to happen now. It cannot wait. It has to happen in 2021 because in 2022, according to reports, nothing will get passed. And if anything happens after that, chances are the House and the Senate will be controlled by Republicans, which means President Biden would have lost all his leverage. So what Mitch McConnell is actually proposing is to just get rid of what most Democrats actually want. And this is turning into a big issue because at $600 to $800 billion, this means there is no fourth stimulus check. And the fourth stimulus check is what some are predicting will be the big bold legislation that gets Democrats back into the House as the majority, or into the Senate as the majority. If a fourth stimulus check doesn't happen, then chances are Democrats will not win, and they will not control the House or the Senate. Here's the other issue on, from the American people side is, maybe you don't care who is in the House or the Senate, but what you probably do care about is, do you get any additional relief? What I can tell you is that if, as of right now, if the bill is between $600 and $800 billion, there's no fourth stimulus check. There's no extension of the extended child tax credits. We won't see the SALT tax deduction increase for blue states. There will be no pre-K schooling, and we won't see free community college to all. Those are just some of the things. Expanded Medicare, not going to happen. There's other things in there as well. Student debt forgiveness, probably wouldn't happen. That's not actually in the bill yet, but many experts believe it will be included at some point. So, what we will see is just simply infrastructure. Roads, bridges, ports, railways, things like that. Everything else will be excluded. But this is where Democrats are currently arguing that the rising cost of goods, gas, food, homes, everything, and anything in between, that is the reason for a fourth stimulus check. Because right now, you got people on Social Security. You got people on unemployment that even with the $300 per week as a boost to their state benefits, it's still leaving them in poverty. That is a huge issue. If they are getting unemployment benefits and $300 per week as a boost, and they are still in poverty, chances are they're getting paid way too little through their state. So we'll see what happens there. We also know that a fourth stimulus check at $2,000 each would cost upwards of $500 billion. So let's just put that into perspective. We got $500 billion for stimulus checks, and then we have the rest of the bill for infrastructure. Well, if it's a $600 billion package, that means $500 billion for infrastructure and $100 billion for stimulus checks and $100 billion for infrastructure. This is never going to happen. Republicans would never vote for that. Democrats would never go for that because it doesn't leave anything for infrastructure, which creates a whole nother issue. And then on top of that, what came out on Friday was that we got a very weak jobs report. That came out on Friday. Okay, so 3 days ago, that's what we learned. Democrats say that now more is needed. They say we need more checks because the American people, the jobs are not coming back as quickly as the administration was expecting. They say more assistance is a must for all Americans because as of right now, with jobs not coming back as quickly, with unemployment starting to run out, people are starting to lose unemployment benefits already. You may not have known that, but they are because there is a cap. I think it's 74 weeks. If you reach that cap in the amount of weeks, you're done. And we also know that Democrats say more must be passed now. We cannot wait because what we are hearing is that if we wait, there will not be a bill passed in 2022, just like Democrats did to the former administration, the previous administration with former President Donald Trump, is Nancy Pelosi didn't want to pass anything prior to the election because she knew if she just held off, that would hurt the administration and that would be beneficial for President Biden now. He was campaigning then, but it actually worked. So according to Mitch McConnell, that Republicans are going to do the exact same thing that Democrats did to them. Well, they're just not going to pass any bills, which is going to be difficult, which means any bill that needs to pass has to pass now, which means we only have a handful of months. But the problem is that many lawmakers, including many Democrats, say that we can't make a decision until we have all the data. We have all the evidence, which means we can't make any decisions on this infrastructure package until we have all the information from the child tax credits, which, again, we haven't seen yet. They want to extend it, but how do they know how long to extend it, or is it even worth it to extend the child tax credits if the money isn't actually going to the children? And I know many of you have brought this up here on the channel as well, which it's true that many parents are not even going to spend a single penny of this child tax credit on their children. They may go buy something for themselves. They may go pay off debt so that they can go and buy something else for themselves. Many parents are going to use this for the right purpose for their children, but others, probably not. And even Democratic Senator Shaheen, she had this to say, and I quote, "We need to take a look at how the child tax credit does this year and make sure we've got some data to support the fact that it's going to benefit the kids." So a Democratic senator is opposed to increasing or extending the child tax credits for 4 more years at this time because she says we need to see some of the data to support the fact that it's going to the kids first and benefiting the kids. If we don't see that data, it's not going to be included. But it's not going to be included until we see that data. You see the issue here. So here's the real problem. President Biden wants this infrastructure package negotiated by May 25th. That is 15 days away from today. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? He wants to see the bill passed by July 4th. He is in support of what Nancy Pelosi stated, that let's get this bill passed before July 4th so that Congress can kind of relax, take things easy leading up to their August recess. But we also know the child tax credit doesn't start until possibly July 1st. As of right now, July 1st is the first date that the IRS would be sending out these payments. Well, what we know is the IRS said they would be sending out the unemployment income tax refund checks for anybody that filed their income taxes early, didn't get the unemployment income tax waiver. For those people, they were supposed to already start getting their payments. Well, we're 10 days into May, and we still haven't received anything. So if the IRS is this slow in July, it's going to be probably the middle of July before we start to see any payments. And at that point, chances are there's not going to be enough data that comes in a month and a half to pass a bill before August 1st. So we'll see what happens there. But all lawmakers right now want to include the child tax credit, and they want to include this revision into the infrastructure package. But if we don't have the data and we're trying to pass the package before August, and the data isn't going to come in until possibly August or September, again, more issues. And this is kind of what we're seeing. So by these timelines, according to reports, the most likely outcome at this time is to wait until after Congress's August recess and then pass a bill in possibly September or October. So this is starting to turn into a more of a delay tactic. We're going to see more delays. We're going to see more information come out. We're going to see more proposals and ideas. But right now, there's a very short window to get anything done. Many lawmakers don't expect anything to get done in 2022. So because of that, and again, that's the midterm election, but because of that, everything has to be done in 2021. We're already almost in the middle of the 5th month, so we don't have a lot of time left. Well, we got 6.5 months left, so we will see what happens there. What I can tell you, though, as of right now, is that if we see this infrastructure package is pushed back into September or possibly October, here's what's going to change, and this is where things are going to really start to impact the package in general. Right now, it's supposedly an infrastructure package, but there's very little that's going to real infrastructure. Okay, and the Biden administration is just changing the definition of infrastructure, which is fine. They've done that before, which is okay. But at least we have an idea of what their plan is. But what we're hearing is if we see this infrastructure package pushed back into September or October, what we know is the unemployment benefits are going to run out on September 6th. That we don't expect these are going to be extended at all. They're not going to be extended a couple weeks. They won't be extended months. They will just simply run out. We already know 2 states have actually committed to canceling their federal unemployment benefits in June, at the end of June. Montana is going to be June 27th, and in South Carolina, it will be June 30th. So those are going to be ending on those dates. More states will most likely follow suit with them very soon. But what we're hearing is if we see unemployment benefits just expire, well, they're going to expire on September 6th. Well, chances are we'd have enough data for the month of September that if we decided to pass a bill in October, maybe it's bipartisan, who knows? But what we know is if we see this stuff gets pushed back into October, possibly even November, what we are hearing is there could be a higher chance of a stimulus check happening then. There'd be more of a chance of another round of unemployment benefits happening in October or November. and we could have the data for the child tax credit at that time. And on top of that, we would know how rental assistance is doing, because again, the eviction moratorium, okay, you gotta keep that in mind, because once that expires and all these landlords can start evicting their tenants, it's going to create a massive housing crisis. So we will see what happens there. Housing right now is already in short supply, but if everyone gets evicted from their homes, that's going to create another massive issue. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, President Biden is going to meet with Democrats today. He's going to meet with the GOP later on this week, and he's also going to meet with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy on Wednesday. What we are hearing this morning is that most experts don't anticipate this to go very far. They don't anticipate that this is going to do much. It's more of just a courtesy from President Biden, because according to reports, Kevin McCarthy has been calling him, but President Biden has not been answering his phone. So I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's according to reports. So I don't know if this is going to be really anything comes out of this. It's probably just going to be more for show. But again, we will know more on Wednesday, and as we do, I'll promise I'll fill you in on all those updates. Kevin McCarthy, right now, he doesn't agree with what President Biden wants, and he actually has been very vocal about this, saying that, talking about what President Biden is trying to do. And here's the other issue. Kevin McCarthy said there is no way to do what President Biden wants without increasing the tax rate on the American people. He said that no American that makes under $400,000 would be impacted by his tax rate increases. But here's the issue. And this is something that we've been hearing over the past couple of weeks, due to inflation, okay, due to the lack of getting any additional income, Social Security beneficiaries are being screwed in this one. What we're hearing is, because of inflation, because of the lack of income, that even though your tax rate may not increase, your spending power has actually decreased by quite a bit, simply because the products are costing more. Gas at the pump is costing much more. I think it's like 30% higher than it was a year ago. And on top of that, your income hasn't changed. So more expensive, your income stays the same. That means your income doesn't go as far, which is essentially the same thing as being taxed more. But what we heard just this morning is that, according to, I think, The Hill and Bloomberg, is that right now many lawmakers do not support President Biden's tax increase. And so the only way to get this bill passed is to make sure it's fully funded. One of the ways to fully fund this bill is with the corporate tax rate increase. But many lawmakers don't support that, because they say that the corporations should not be tasked with paying for a road they will never drive on, paying for a bridge that they will never cross, paying for ports that they never use. What should be done is people need to pay for the things that they're using. The best way to do that, according to reports and according to The Hill and according to what Mitch McConnell says, is we will have to impose a gas tax. Well, who gets impacted by a gas tax? The American people. So just understand, as of right now, there are discussions on a possible gas tax increase. President Biden says no, that's not going to happen. But most reports indicate that even though the president says that will not happen, that is the most likely scenario. So I just want to keep you updated on that. We also know that the Bureau of Economic Analysis has stated that the American people got a boost of about 21% to their income due to the $1,400 stimulus checks. That is really good. That is great. That's a 21% increase, or 21% boost is incredible. If you make $7.25 or $7.25 an hour, a 21% boost brings you up to like $8.75 or something like that. It's almost like a $1.50 raise. Okay, so just keep that in mind, because right now many Democrats are proposing a $15 per hour minimum wage increase, but they cannot get the support. But if a 21% increase, goes from $7.25 to $8.75. I think it's a little bit higher than that, $8.78, $8.79, somewhere around there. You guys can do the math if you want to. It's right around there. It's right about $8.75. So a $1.50 raise per hour. Let me know down in the comment section below, what would a $1.50 extra per hour do for you? Okay, $1.50 if you work 40 hours a week, that's $60 extra per week. That's $240 per month extra in your pocket simply because you got a 21% boost in your income. That's actually going to help out a lot of people. It may not be $15 per hour, but it is going to help out a lot of people. What we do know is the Bureau of Economic Analysis says that more checks would definitely help out the economy. They also said that in March, we saw consumer spending increase by about 4.2%, but that has all dropped due to the lack of additional stimulus. So they are pushing for more checks, but it really depends on what Congress is willing to pass. What I can tell you right now is that some economists say that a forced stimulus check is needed, but if the economy continues to do better, which it has been doing a little bit better, then another check won't be as important. We also know it's going to take into consideration not only the child tax credits when they're coming out, because that's going to impact millions of people. That's also going to most likely increase the cost of goods. So we will see what happens there. But the unemployment income is still being sent. And it requires the unemployment income still to be sent. If states start to cancel it early, that's going to impact whether or not we should see an additional stimulus check or not. If we see rental assistance and nutrition assistance continue to flow and jobs start coming back on a more consistent basis, then if all these things happen, then a forced stimulus check might not be needed or as needed according to many economists. Right now, some are saying that a forced stimulus check should be the backbone of this next package. However, Democrats say no, it needs to be infrastructure, but at the same time, there's less than 10% of this next bill is actually real infrastructure, according to a lot of reports. So right now, there's just going to be a back and forth between Democrats and Republicans and Democrats, because right now, some Democrats do not support what President Biden is proposing. Many progressives say he's providing far too little and he needs to provide more. People on Social Security say there's nothing for them again, and I can't agree more. There's absolutely nothing in this bill for people on Social Security. There's some things that have been mentioned, but very few have actually followed through with it. So, as of right now, this is what we know. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your Monday morning and Monday afternoon. I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you could, go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.